Okay, getting the first pick. Oh, get three, Pyro, get three with the
Blade Kid putting on a clinic. 14 down. Oh!
Experience tranquility.
Hey everybody, my name is Delphi. Welcome back to Overwatch Tranquility. Today is stage 1, week 4 of the Discord tier. We have the 2-on-1 Reminiscence versus the equal 2-on-1 Flying Lions. Pretty interesting match we have going on. Both teams looking pretty strong. Today I am joined by our analyst, Apathy. How's it going, Apathy? Are you excited for today?
I'm good. I'm very excited for this match. Reminiscence is looking to bounce back after their tough loss to Quaka Queens, and Flying Lions is, kind of looking to prove that they've got some strong footing in this group of death going on right here in the Discord tier. So
Definitely.
sure to be an interesting match.
Both teams very strong contenders, looking to plant their seed in the Discord tier. And we'll just jump right into it. First map is gonna be Busan. What are you looking forward to here?
I think it'll be interesting when Mecha Base comes up because Flying Lions, Man Bro Dude on that Reinhardt, they definitely tend to that brawl style. So like, if Mecha Base comes out first or second, they might be able to take the momentum pretty early. Whereas Reminiscence are a lot more flexible. They play the Orisa comps, the Ball comps, they play the Monkey comp. They, Blood Hungry plays every main tank, So looking at like Sanctuary could be potentially tough for the Flying Lions with their hero pools. So I think the Busan's really gonna depend on which map comes out first for me.
I completely agree with you. We're headed in straight into the name for this one escapes me.
This one's Sanctuary.
That is correct. We're heading straight into Sanctuary. Usually we see a lot of Ball Sigma style comps, maybe a little bit more divey. Some teams might even run down with the double shield. We'll see what each team decides to pick up here. I 100% agree with you. Reminiscence is a little bit more flexible in their hero pool, so Busan might favor them a little bit more. Each point on Busan, you kind of have a different play style. Some see 6-man on downtown, as you said, brawl on the on Mecha Base. So we'll see what everybody decides to play. It looks like we have Asdo locking the Bastion, a personal favorite of mine. I doubt I doubt they're gonna end up staying with it, but I respect the pick for sure.
Yeah, given the rest of the comp, I assume they're switching 6-man. I do want to point out, Man Bro Dude on Twitter has been talking how much he hates Ball. Has he just been debating his Twitter followers for the purpose of this one map in their feature match? If so, I respect the commitment to the
you can hate the
here.
hero. You can hate the hero. Doesn't mean your team's not gonna force you to play him. It looks like we have kind of a one side's kind of staying together here, and we have the Echo Mercy kind of hanging out on point, but it looks like Blood Hungry is gonna get a pick on to the D.Va, kind of leaving her out to struggle. I honestly think they're gonna end up getting this fight really quick here.
Yeah, Blood Hungry's working on getting these cleanups. They've got Asdo, trying to get these hacks on the mobile heroes on the Flying Lions so that they can clean it up, catch this point out fast. The way they played this fight was really smart. They rotated all the way over to the Flying Lions side of the map and sped onto their core before Flying Lions even do what hit them. And now we see them switching to the mirror.
I really respect how Reminiscence was able to stick together, all 6 men together, doing one hard dive onto an individual target. That's usually not something you see in some, lower mid-tier elos, and they're able to pull it off. It looks like Concept is able to pick off Man Bro Dude here. I think the rest of it's going to be a quick cleanup.
That was a big hack from Asdo on a Shadow Fang. Flying Lions definitely have an upward climb here. They just swapped to the comp. Other than the D.Va, they made a wholesale switch, and they lost the first fight pretty quickly. So now we see Reminiscence here with a daunting time ultimate advantage. Here comes Asda with the EMP.
That kind of was just a predictable play right there. Asdo had the EMP online. They get the 6-man EMP before Flying Lions even gets the option to set up or make any kind of rotation. It is going to be really hard for Flying Lions to make any kind of play. Look at the ult banks. Reminiscent has 5 ults online. Flying Lions isn't even halfway to their first one, so it's
And
looking like it's going to be a free cleanup here.
they staggered the D.Va. She went back to spawn, switched to Orisa. Their closest ult was D.Va at 60%, and she just lost her entire ultimate charge.
They are being pressured out by time. We'll see how they are able to take this fight, but it looks like Reminiscence is just taking every opportunity to go in and set the tempo before the fight even begins. They're already diving into all 6 of them and playing off of hacks and everything. This is looking really strong from Reminiscence.
Yeah, and they still are coming up on another EMP. They still have the Death Blossom. They still have the Bomb. They've got plenty of ults. And we're fighting again. These fights have been coming so fast.
Flying Lions doesn't even have their first ultimate yet, and it's already 99 on the point. They're going to be coming up with the coalescence to see if they can pick anything up. However, they lost Extra Sharp, and it's looking like a struggle at this point. It's just a matter of clean up on the side of Reminiscence here. All they can do is stall it out, but it's not really going to get them that far.
Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, that was a really tough map. Flying Lions lost the first fight and immediately switched. And Reminiscence was able to take these fights so fast. They are pushing, taking the fights almost in the Flying Lions spawn, taking them so fast and so efficiently with their ults that Flying Lions literally never had a chance to fight. They didn't get to take a single fight until 99% because they were just up against such a daunting ultimate advantage.
Yeah,
and here we're not even seeing Mecha Base. The Overwatch gods are not smiling on them today.
Not at all. We are going to downtown. I'm really liking the tempo that Reminiscence is setting here. They're taking fights before Flying Lions can even consider where they're going to set up or even think about their rotations or anything like that. So I'm loving the communication and the teamwork that's going on the side of Reminiscence. It looks like we have a interesting composition here on the side of Reminiscence with the Orisa D.Va, which has been played a little bit more. And we have the standard Far Mercy dive on the side of the Flying Lions. Let's see if the poke from the dive is able to, make any space. But I don't think it's going to happen. Reminiscence just kind of holding their high ground here, seeing if they can get anything. We have Asdo on the Tracer playing the low ground, looking to maybe see if they can annoy the Ana a little bit or see if they can make a little bit of room for their team to move out of here. But, they have nothing to contest the Pharah, so there's really not anything that is stopping Pharah from taking the point here.
Yeah, Rem is kind of stuck into the small room. I think we might see a barrage before they even get to fight.
Shadow Fang does find the early pick on the Brig, which is big against a dive comp, not having that Brig. Really early barrage coming from Shadow Fang, and now it's just a matter of cleanup for Flying Lions. It looks like a completely different tempo on the Flying Lion side. It honestly looked like the teams just swapped rosters, and now they're playing the game of the other person at this point.
Yeah, I mean Reminiscence does at least have some ults built. They're switching the Brig to a Lucio. They're playing, or the Brig to a Zenyatta, excuse me. Playing a little bit less for the counter dive, a little bit more poke and aggression. They just got themselves stuck into that small room. They weren't quite healthy enough to push, but didn't really have like a speed boost to rotate them elsewhere.
The Pharah proving to be a big pick on behalf of Shadow Fang, able to get a lot of uncontested damage, and it looks like there are trades on either side. The fight is on point, and this is just a good old-fashioned scrappy brawl going on in the middle of the point, but it looks like Flying Lions is going to be able to come up with it. However, they still have the Tracer and the D.Va up, and the Asdo on the Tracers is able to get a little bit of picks, doing a little bit of damage, forcing them off, but the Primal Rage is out to force the D.Va back, force Asdo off a point, and it looks like they're going to be able to hold on. Actually, I was wrong. Concept coming in, Asdo getting the pick on the Baby D.Va, and on Extra Sharp on the Mercy. Honestly, Asdo carrying his team, stalling this out, getting all of the stagger picks coming back.
I cannot believe what I'm seeing. That's his 8th pick of the fight, and he got 5 opening picks by himself, pretty much. Just I don't even know what to say about that.
100
I
HP
mean,
hero, hard like anchoring the point for the rest of his team to
yeah,
come back from spawn and getting kills while he's doing it. It's very impressive.
that was absolutely insane. Barry here coming up on the EMP. We'll see what they can do with it, or if Reminiscence are going to be able to ult first.
Here it comes with a barrage coming from pretty far away. Doesn't get the optimal damage there. The EMP does come in, however, it doesn't look like the entire team is going to be able to capitalize on it. There are a few picks coming here and there from either side, but Reminiscence is still holding strong. But Flying Lions does have the man advantage at this point, and now it looks like Rem is just trying to stall out with the Transcendence, with the Diva mech, and is trying to hold off to see if they can get the rest of their team back. And we do have Blood Hungry coming back on the Orisa to see if he can stop point a little bit more as well. However, it's a matter of target priority at this point. If either team just has to focus the same target to chunk them down, or you're not going to see as many kills. And it looks like the last 2 remaining members of Flying Lions are just going off map to start another fight.
Yeah, the Pharah tried to concussive blast in to follow up on that EMP. Didn't quite get as far as they would have liked, so despite the massive EMP, Reminiscence was kind of able to kite that out pretty quickly, get into some cover, and it was a scrappy fight. There were picks being traded both ways, but eventually Reminiscence just had the respawns and a couple more picks, and they were able to hold out the point.
And we have an interesting pick here from Barry going onto the Widowmaker. Let's see if they can do anything against a Diva Orisa, if they're able to even do anything. Asdo easily getting 2 picks on the supports in the backline, which is big. Now Reminiscence is going in this without any supports. However, it looks like they're able to get a few picks on the other side as well. Let's see if it's enough.
Oh,
Oh,
they can't
and they
even
get
touch.
off a point. Flying Lions loses the map 2-0 to Reminiscence after neglecting the point and going for those kills.
Yeah, I think that fight, I don't know if that was a true C9. They weren't really winning that fight. The thing that I would like to see from Flying Lions is they have to keep Cinnamon alive. Asdo is picking off Cinnamon at, like, almost before the fights even start. Like, always at the beginning of the fight, sometimes even earlier than that, Asdo is picking them off. And, when these fights go long and Flying Lions don't have their main source of healing, the Ana, these long fights are just swinging in Reminiscence's favor, right? They're trading picks back and forth, but Flying Lions are out their Ana for the entire fight. And so they're having a tough time, stabilizing and winning these long fights. I'd really like to see I mean, they might have to switch, even though the Farah got so much value, they might just have to switch to Brig and, respect what Asdo is doing to Cinnamon and keep her alive as best as they can to start
Definitely,
winning out these fights.
I think it's definitely important to acknowledge that your backline is getting taken out before a fight even starts, and playing a little bit more of a Peely comp as opposed to a hard damage for the enemy backline. So we'll see if they are able to make those swaps for future maps here. One thing I like on behalf of Reminiscence is they just seem so much more decisive. They seem like they have good comms. They're making decisions and they're sticking to them. And I'm really liking the teamwork from Reminiscence. Flying Lions, they're kind of being put on the back of the Far there, but it seems like they're spread out a little bit more, and they don't really have the target focus that Reminiscence has right now. But first map could be a little bit of a warm up map. Second map we're going into is Hanamura. So we'll see if Flying Lions are able to turn it around. But so far, Reminiscence looking very strong right now.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't even think it's about the target focus. Like, even if you're shooting at the same people, Reminiscence is running the BAP Zen, which, although Zen isn't too much healing, BAP with Zen, can be really tough to take out the Orisa or the Diva. And obviously you're going to have a hard time catching the Tracer with the comp that they are running, right? So just like, not even target focus wise, just the fact that Reminiscence is being able to keep Glitch alive for longer, right? Like if they were trading backlines and then they had the right target, the same target focus that they would now, I think Flying Lions would be winning out some more of these fights. The thing is just that Glitch is staying alive much longer than Cinnamon is, partially because she is playing Baptiste, you know, with the self-healing and the much higher raw healing that character pumps out. We are going
And
to Hanamura, so this could suit towards the Flying Lion style. I mean, we just saw some excellent Orisa Diva play from Reminiscence, which is pretty good on this defense, but I think it's fairly expected that both teams would run a TP strat here on attack. We'll just have to see how they respond to it on defense.
yeah, let's see if Reminiscence can set up a core here, and you know, kind of keep their supports alive, because I think that was the main thing that was keeping their supports alive last map was, you know, all of their tanks were around their supports. If anybody decided to look at their supports, they had the you know, every other hero there to back them up with it. So let's see how they do when they can't just sit in a corner and play out a point, and you know, they kind of have to go forward and you know, take control of the fight. So let's see how it goes. It looks like we have a standard TP brawl comp on behalf of Reminiscence here, but we have the Echo Mercy on the side of Flying Lion. So we'll see how that's able to handle the TP. Usually if you get a big sticky right when everybody comes out of the teleporter, then you can get a lot of damage, a lot of ult charge, and see if you can roll the fight that way. Looks like
Come
they're
on,
setting up
Tariff.
the
There you
TP,
go.
taking a few seconds. There it goes.
Yep.
And it looks
Yeah,
like
we'll
we're
have to see
rotating
how they deal with
backside.
this Echo. Oh,
Ooh,
okay. Well,
extra sharp already
see
going
that.
down to Asdo on the Mei. It's wow, that was a lot quicker than honestly I thought it was gonna be. I thought they were gonna be able to stall out the point a little bit more, but you know, Asdo getting the pick on the Mercy just kind of opened everything up to be a really quick cleanup.
yeah, I mean, you just two-tap the Mercy and the fight is over. Pretty much, you know, they don't have the same. Then they're solo healing with the Baptiste. They don't have that AoE healing of the Lucio, and they just get run
Yep,
over pretty quickly
and
without that
and
Echo in the backline doing work.
at that point the Echo has to play way more passively because they don't have the consistent pocket. It looks like we do see the swap from the Mercy onto the Lucio for a little bit more speed, a little bit more AoE healing. Barry getting a massive pick onto Glitch up front, and Manbro does win the main tank duel, so now it's just a matter of cleaning up and building up some ult charge.
Yeah, so looking like they are going to be able to stabilize on this B point. The Symmetra has ult, so I don't think they switched them yet. Going to be staggering out this Lucio here.
That's a big stagger.
trade,
Unfortunately,
though.
Cinnamon goes down. Lucy's going to
It
get
won't
a good
really
amount
matter.
of ult charge from that.
Yeah, it won't matter too much. I'm sure Cinnamon will be back before the fight
Yep.
starts. But it's gonna come down to this Blizzard. I think, you know, they're gonna TP in, throw down the Symmetra wall, and we're gonna see if Hulk Smash is gonna be able to eat, as does Blizzard here, because that's gonna be a painful ult to counter when all you've got is a window and a shatter of your own.
I completely agree. It looks like Reminiscence is going top right, starting off with a wall. Let's see if they're able to get the Blizzard here. It is not eaten, but it does look like Flying Lions is able to get out of it. Asdo does go down to Barry, which is a pretty big pick, but it looks like both tanks on the side of Reminiscence are able to get a few picks of their own. We see a copy coming out onto Orion. Oh, big double shatter on a Seraphim Glitch on the ground. It looks like they're actually going to be able to hold this, even though they had a few people get picked off in the beginning there.
Yeah, that was really close. It looked like, I mean, Manbro dude started off that fight with a big shatter. At first there wasn't much cleanup, but then, you know, who needs cleanup when the Echo comes in and gets another shatter? You don't really need to clean up very hard if they're just all on the ground for the next 10 seconds. Really good play from Grant there.
Grant with that copy coming in clutch, able to clean up. Even just a 1 or 2 person shatter, as long as it's the right target, can, you know, significantly change the tempo of a fight. If you solo shatter a Baptiste or a Lucio out of beat, or even a damage dealer like May or Kree, you know, it can instantly change up the tempo. It looks like Reminiscence is going top right again. They're going to take Catwalk, poke it out a little bit with the window. But it looks like Barry's sitting there with the high noon. See if he can pick off any right now. It does get eaten by the defensive matrix, so now they are just waiting out, see if they get any picks. They throw in the bomb and don't find anything. Glitch does find Manbro dude, however, so, you know, Flying Lions is going in this without a main tank.
Yeah, they've gotten a good amount of picks. I think some of these respawns are going to come in before they actually get too much pressure on the point. We'll see what Blood Hungry does with this shatter, though.
Manbro is coming up on a shatter of his own as well.
That's true. TNA gets Remax. That's a bit of a diva diff there.
That's just a little bit of passive BM going on in the middle of the map. Big shatter knocking all of them down from Manbro, dude. That was absolutely massive. They were able to take the point back without even giving a tick.
Yeah, I love the aggression from Blood Hungry, pretty much sitting in the spawn, but there were people that snuck out the other door and they didn't really have as much cleanup on the point, you know. If he had just played closer up to the front of the point, maybe still would have scared some of those recontests, but had the ability to swing onto people and clean up that fight just a little bit faster. Could have gotten a tick or two out there.
Asdo does have the Blizzard online again. Let's see if they are able to get people in it, but it doesn't look like it. Asdo gets taken out early as well as Blood Hungry, and now it's just another cleanup. It's pretty much an ult battery on behalf of the Flying Lions here. That was basically a free dry fight they had.
Yeah, I believe that was a flashbang from Barry. Looked like a 3, 4, 5-man flashbang there that they followed up
Absolutely
on
massive.
excellently.
Blood
And
Hungry
Blood Hungry
does,
tried to go for the shadow
yep,
there.
does commit the shatter, but isn't able to come up with anything. And I really respect Flying Lions being able to take that fight and not use anything out of their ult bank.
Hmm.
It does look
Rem
like
switching
Rem.
up their pathing here, yeah.
Yep, they're going bottom right, seeing if they can take the point a little bit more directly, get all 6 players in the point. Although this does leave them up to an open Blizzard, nobody gets caught into it, but everybody on behalf of Reminiscence gets frozen in the back line. It does look like Reminiscence is going to be able to clean up a few of the kills here, investing ultimates like Diva Bomb. And Blood Hungry is coming up on another Shatter as well. The only thing that Flying Lions has for them is Window and Diva Bomb. Let's see if they're able to get the point back with it, but they aren't able to touch, which is unfortunate. Reminiscence gets the point with a minute 28 left over.
So yeah, Grant came in with the Blizzard and he covered most of the point, but with Lucy's beat and speed boost, they were kind of able to kite out that Blizzard there, and glitch with a big window just in the middle of point. Without that Blizzard really freezing anybody on the side of Reminiscence, they were able to chip down the Flying Lines through Glitch's window there. I really like the pathing switch, the way that Reminiscence has been attacking these points, trying to, you know, trying one thing once or twice, switching it up, keeping the Flying Lions on their toes with what direction that they're going to go in.
Yes,
So now we see.
Uh,
Oh,
my
go ahead.
bad. I was gonna say I really like that Reminiscence is recognizing the faults of certain paths or where they're going wrong and are able to make these changes on the fly. And
Mhm.
sometimes going top right with your own May could be beneficial, but going up against the Flying Lions main tank and going up against the May on the other side as well, they recognize that that's a bit of an issue, so they just avoid it completely and go bottom right.
Yeah, and it's not even which path is better necessarily. It's just not going the same way
Yep.
every single time, so that Flying Lions doesn't get a good read on you. They are opting to not go for a Symmetra teleport strat, which might. Oh, now they're switching last second. I was gonna say it might be for the best because Asda's just gonna spam them in the back on this Pharah. We'll see if he's able to do more than the Mercy was able to do on defense with the pocket there.
Looks like Rem is holding a little bit closer, anticipating the TP, unlike Flying Lions did on their defense. And they were able to knock Flying Lions down from the teleport, but it looks like they're going to be able to rotate from point to point anyways. But Seraph does find the pick on Cinnamon. And, without that Baptiste, there's no significant healing that you can keep up. There's no immortality to keep everybody alive. Grant and Hulk Smash do find 2 picks, which is going to be big. They are going to be able to res as though with the Mercy. However, if Flying Lions gets back quick, they might be able to take this fight 6v5.
Yeah, we see the difference in the compositions that these two teams have picked on their defense. You know, Reminiscence committing to a Pharah rather than an Echo and using Ashe instead of McCree. And while Ashe got picked off early, that Dynamite gives so much chip damage and the ability to like finish people off, as well as just the monkey cleaving through this stuff. Oh, that's a big barrage.
Absolutely massive, but a perfect opportunity to look for that. And now it should be an easy cleanup. And that's honestly the fight they needed to take. That's the fight that they needed to win because Seraph was still rotating back and wasn't in an optimal position to take the fight. Flying Lions taking the right side pathing to try to go to high ground and go around. And it ended up not working in their favor because Asto had that barrage going on, and that barrage that close in a close corridor is bound to get a pick.
I just wish Shazdo would let me talk before he goes off and makes another highlight reel, you know? He keeps interrupting me with all these plays he's doing.
He's gonna have a
And
10-minute montage after this one match.
yeah. Flying Lions do the right thing, though. You know, they need to get out that barrage. They lost pretty quickly. Their diva got staggered, but otherwise they took that fight very quickly. We'll see if this time they can make it onto the point and use this blizzard here. But unfortunately, more picks come through on the rotation.
Flying Lions trying to rotate into that right side pathing again. However, not all of them make it through, and Asdo just takes that advantage and recognizes that there are still two squishies in choke, and just you know is able to poke them down. And all they have to use there is the nano boost, and that gave Asdo another barrage. So
Yeah.
not only does Flying Lions have to actually commit to their path, all six of them, but they also have to deal with this barrage again, and the Diva's out of mech. So they're probably going to wait that out, try to get Diva back into mech before they start doing their rotation. But they got to pick a side. All six of them go with it and really carry that barrage that's coming in from Asdo.
Maybe you just look to shatter Blood Hungry right at the choke, take him out, and then stabilize and slow push through. It's going to be really tough for them going the same way. Do they even know that Asdo has a barrage?
Probably not, and he's
Oh,
looking for it right now. There it is. Able to get to, again, both of the DPS. Diva Bomb being committed, but not able to find anybody. And now it's another cleanup. And Flying Lions has a pretty big ult bank that they've been holding on to for a while. They haven't seen the opportunity to use a lot of these ults. And like you said, Apathy, it might even be worth just solo shattering, Blood Hungry or anybody else that they find on the ground just to get the initial pick. Even taking out a main tank is big enough of an opening that they might be able to get their rotation in.
yeah, I mean, they haven't had a real chance to use these ults. They can't rotate cleanly into a position. And it's not really anyone's fault. They're
Ooh.
generally stacking as 6. They're just not quite making it.
Looks like Manbro just going AFK on the point. The It's unfortunate. Asdo was able to pick off extra sharp mid beat, which is
Yeah.
that could have won them the point, but it just that one what is that one beat just it could have saved them, could have gotten them to point, could have been able to help them stabilize, but Asdo on the far just doing a lot of work.
I mean, this is a tough map to play on, right? I mean, Hanamura always feels like either that Sim TP is successful on your first attack, or they come out with a good counter Sim TP strat, so to speak, and they just full hold you because it can be really tough to get through that choke without a teleporter, but you can't just teleport over and over and over. You can't
I
teleport into a team that has ultimates. It just doesn't really work. So they just kind of got unlucky with their first fight and were really unable to stabilize just because of the way this map works in the current meta. You know what I mean?
I kind of wish that because Reminiscence had the far mercy, that Flying Lions stuck on the sim and just TP directly to point, because a lot of the times the far mercy is getting the values on their rotations. You saw it when they were rotating across the catwalk on top that top high ground. You saw it when they
Hmm.
were rotating even after they got their first TP, when they were making the rotation on the backside of point, trying to get to point. It's almost might be worth just TPing directly to point. One thing that I've been trying to do, or my team Decapitators has been trying to do, is
Hmm.
Diva not taking the teleport, and she uses her left shift, her fly, and DMs the TP to deny a lot of the damage. So she's not actually taking the TP, but she's still able to get there with the team and denies the damage from the Pharah, so the rest of the team can get into the teleporter onto point and can stabilize. I honestly think if they stuck with the May and just went directly to point, they would have been able to stabilize a little bit and clean up a fight.
Sure. Yeah, it can be tough, coming up on that barrage, obviously, after the first fight. But if you're able to get the Diva over the teleporter, eat that barrage, maybe then they can get all onto point safely. So, yeah, I'd agree with you there.
Now it looks like we are about to take a 10-minute halftime here. Pretty strong performance by Reminiscence here. It's definitely looking one sided. Let's see if Flying Lions can take it back on the second half.
Yeah, this is kind of what we expected from this match. Obviously, Flying Lion's a very good team, but Reminiscence and Quaka Queens have kind of shown that they're at a tier of their own in the Discord tier right now. I Let's see if Flying Lions can stabilize. Maybe take a map or at least put up a good showing, have something good that they can VOD review over and use that information to win out the rest of their pool, you know.
Let's see what they are able to do when they come back from a halftime. I do believe we are going to take a halftime as well.
Mhm.
And yeah, we'll see what maps we're coming back to in around 10ish minutes. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to this awesome matchup we have between Reminiscence and the Flying Lions on this stage one, week four feature we have going on. It looks like we're jumping right into King's Row here. A pick from Flying Lions. It looks like with Man Bro Dude, being a pretty strong Reinhardt, they're probably going to be running a brawl here, which is probably why they ended up picking up King's Row.
Yeah, I think this pick makes sense. Eichenwald is also viable for Brawl, but there's a little bit more room to play other things on Eichenwald. This pick makes sense. I'm just curious to see what the exact DPS line that they run is going to be. We've got Shadowfang coming in for Barry, and Grant is staying in. And then we've also got Seraph the Sheriff coming in on the side of Reminiscence. So there's a chance that we won't see Maycree mirrors, but I'm not sure. This is what's going to be the interesting part of the map for me. What these
Definitely.
DPS lines come out to be.
If I had to make a prediction, I would predict that Flying Lions is going to play a little bit of the standard brawl with the May Cree. But honestly, I think we could see Reminiscence pull out something that's not pretty typical. We might end up seeing the Arista Diva, or some other kind of strange comp here. It looks like
Yeah,
off
I
of
think
initial picks though, we do have the mirror.
I think their attack will be pretty standard, but there's potential for something non-brawl on defense perhaps. So yeah, we are seeing May on both sides. I was a little curious to see if maybe we'd see a Doomfist come out on the side of the defense, but we're not getting that. They are currently setting up inside of the statue. Maybe they're going to try to bait Rem in just a little bit and then rush out from that little alcove and try to catch them with their pants down. That's going to be a kind of a high risk, high reward play here. I'm
I
curious to see
think
how this
the
will play out.
I think the way Flying Lions is gonna win this first fight is if they take the charge, they create the initiative and walk into Reminiscence before they have a chance to rotate and set up. And it looks like that might be what they're about
They
to do.
were
No, they're just
spotted.
gonna kind of hang out there. They get a big wall, able to pick off a few early. Manbro Dude in there swinging the hammer, able to get Seraph. Lucy goes down as well. It looks like Flying Lions is going to be able to clean this up, but we do have DNA on the high ground just poking out, and Reminiscence is able to stabilize.
Yeah,
And
I
then,
mean, Flying Lions came out with the initial pick, but they had significantly lower health bars by the end of that fight, even with players dead on their team. So Rem is still able to slow push into this and
Shadowfang
get
does
picks
get
every here
the
and there.
Shadowfang does get the early high noon, but it doesn't look like he's able to get any with it. Asdo does get the pick on the Diva, which is big. Now there's one less tank presence onto the defensive point here. And it looks like Reminiscence just cleans it up pretty quickly. They lost too early. They were able to stabilize. They were able to pick Manbro Dude pretty early, and Flying Lions just got caught out during the rotation back, waiting for Manbro Dude to come back with the fight.
Yeah, and some good recognition from Reminiscence, right? They walked out, they saw that Flying Lions were nowhere in sight, and it looked like they were pretty ready for them to be at that statue, recognizing, if they're not in spot A or B, they're probably in spot C. We'll see how they take this fight. Asdo significantly ahead on the Blizzard here, but Cinnamon has the window as Glitch just used it to cap point A.
Let's see if Hulk Smash can eat the Blizzard. It doesn't look like it, and it does look like Shadowfang is going to be caught in it, as well as Grant. Let's see if they're able to take them down as well. They do, and it looks like they're going to get a little bit more free cart space as Flying Lions does push back here. They do manage to get the pick onto Manbro Dude because of the Maywalk coming in from Asdo, so that's pretty big. And I don't think Flying Lions anticipated getting pushed there. I thought they probably thought they would have a free rotation and another contest, and now it's gonna be a sketchy contest if they are able to get one.
I think Rem is gonna push onto them again too before they really even get a chance to set up on this corner. They're already in desperation mode to touch this right here.
And
might just have to
big
give it
wall
up, yeah.
from Asdo, just denying the whole half of that side of the map. It looks like Flying Lions is going to be forced to move back a little bit. They're seeing if they can get any picks with the High Noon and with the Diva Bomb, but none come out, and Seraph actually ends up falling to Shadowfang, and Flying Lions is now committing a bomb of their own. They do burn the immortality because of the bomb. We have two players on the left side here that are being caught out, but Blood Hungry does commit the shatter. to end up picking Grant. Shadowfang does go down as well, and it looks like Reminiscence is they're gonna be able to stabilize again without all of their players.
See, what I think is happening here is Flying Lions are taking the initiative with these ults. They're getting the early picks, and then they're seeing, Reminiscence generally being split onto like two sides, and they're indecisive from that point on which like side of the core that they want to push on, right? They're getting these picks, they finish stabilizing, but they aren't able to, re-aggress and clean up the rest of Reminiscence, and Reminiscence is just able to stabilize faster and kill them while they're split, trying to push onto Rem.
Reminiscence, I imagine their comms right now are just all 6 of them screaming winnable, even though
Yeah.
they are down 2 players every fight. Big High Noon coming in from Seraph, and they're going to be able to cap King's Row with a 409. That's very impressive coming off from Reminiscence.
Yeah, unfortunately, they're losing members in almost every single one of these fights, and they are just, it doesn't matter to them. They are speeding into the Flying Lions whether they have 2 people alive or 6 people alive. They are just not turning down this aggression, and Flying Lions are really unsure how to react.
One thing that definitely separates a good team from an average team is being able to recognize when enemy cooldowns are being used and when a fight goes from okay, this is probably lost to oh, they blew immortality, May used her left shift, her ice block, and we can pick 3 squishies because our Rhine's still up and theirs isn't, even though you're already down 2 or 3 players. And Reminiscence is recognizing these cooldown usages and recognizing these advantages that they have even when they're down a few players, and they're able to just roll over Flying Lines, even when they don't have the player advantage. So it's absolutely impressive coming from the side of Reminiscence that they're able to turn these fights when they're down 2 or 3 already.
And it's not even recognizing, like, I don't even think they're asking, is this fight winnable? They just have the mentality that every fight is winnable, and they're willing it to life, They're just,
It
they
happens.
they're deciding that the fight is winnable regardless of the status of the fight. They're not really analyzing the cooldowns. They're just saying, this fight is still winnable.
It
We
doesn't
are
matter
going
if
for it.
all 6 of us are back in spawn. We're going to win this fight one way or
Yeah.
another. It looks like Blood Hungry misses the charge on Grant. That would have been a free opening pick. And Grant messes up the wall, and Manbro Dude goes down to Blood Hungry pretty early. Reminiscence is just going to amp in and see if they can clean up a bit of this fight. I think if Grant got that wall off on Blood Hungry and was able to isolate them from the rest of the team, that fight would have gone the other direction. But they were able to, or they did screw that up a little bit, and they had to drop it really early. And at that point, they really didn't have any positional advantage.
It was tough the way Asdo's wall came out so early. Like, they spotted Blood slightly out of position, but Asdo's wall was able to cover for him quite well. We're seeing Flying Lions with the Symmetra here, actually, instead of the McCree, using it to teleport to the high ground. That means they need to play these fights a little slower, work on their D.Va, keeping their BAP, protecting and peeling for this BAP so that they can have the sustain to take these fights long enough for the Symmetra beam to ramp up.
Yeah,
I'd like to see a slow, aggressive push from them here.
the one thing about McCree is he does have that damage output without having to ramp it up, unlike Symmetra. But Symmetra can be very strong if she can farm her beam off of the enemy Rhine. We do have a High Noon invested from Seraph, and it looks like DNA is able to take down Grant, but Blood Hungry does go down. Let's see if Flying Lions is able to clean this up a little bit. We have the wall invested from Flying Lions and the D.Va Bomb coming in from DNA. And they're giving up a little bit of positions. This is where we're going to see Reminiscence kind of stabilizing a little bit before investing ultimates like this Blizzard to try to go back into it.
Mm-hmm. They're getting picks here, but they're not getting much map space. That's a big Blizzard coming out.
That is absolutely massive, and that's the map space you were just talking about. That's the map space that they needed. That Blizzard made a lot of space for them. It forced Reminiscence to pull back a little bit, and Flying Lions, the rest of the players that were inside that hallway could amp right out into everybody that was frozen in the Blizzard and just clean that up.
Yeah, a really good play from Grant there. We are seeing Reminiscence switch over to a Doomfist now. I think what the idea here is, they're recognizing that the Symmetra comp wants to play slow. And so what's one of the fastest ways to play Brawl? Well, it's to play, Doom or Hanzo and just go for extremely early picks, and there is one right now.
That's where we assume that Reminiscence is screaming winnable regardless of their bat being picked really early. They had the beat online. They just waited for Flying Lions to get a little bit out of position. The Doomfist got the pick on the Flying Lions BAP, which was really big, and they invested the Blizzard, and they were or I'm sorry, they didn't invest the Blizzard. They invested the High Noon, and they were able to just walk into them. They were able to use the High Noon for space and clean up the rest of the fight.
We do see the McCree switch in response to the Doomfist. I like this switch, and Rem has no ultimate economy currently. Flying Lions have a big ultimate advantage, and they're choosing to wrap around the long way, which I like. I like that they're changing up their pathing.
Absolutely big flash onto Blood Hungry right there with the right click, able to take him down enough so that way Manbro could get the 2K with the fire strike through the window. However, Asdo getting a lot of picks here, picking up 3. Let's see if Asdo is able to stabilize this. He's the only man alive. But again, I imagine the Reminiscence comms are still
No way he
screaming
gets
it's
more.
winnable
Oh my
as he
god.
picks 4. It's just the Flying Lions tanks chilling on point right now. And even if Asdo dies, which he doesn't, even if he died, the rest of Reminiscence was on their way back. Asdo absolutely putting Reminiscence on his back, and you know that was Flying Lions' fight to win, and they weren't able to clean up one Doomfist, which is absolutely insane. It just shows what kind of value and skill that Asdo has on the Doom.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say. That guy's he's just a human cheat
Already
code.
opening it
There
up
it
with
goes
2.
again. It's just I don't
There's
know.
3. They usually with the Doomfist on King's Row Brawl, you see them running the Zarya, so that way Doom can get the bubble and he can be initiated, or he has the initiation, doesn't have to worry about stuns or anything like that. Reminiscence isn't even running any kind of protection for the Doom. He's just going in with on his own, getting 3 or 4 picks per fight, and it
Mhm.
doesn't seem like Flying Lions, even though they have the flash, they have the Mei to wall him off of his punch. They have the Ryan who could countercharge him. Lucio could boop him out of position off one of his abilities. It doesn't look like they're able to use that at all.
They're just not sure where he's coming from. They're not able to scout him out. Although, I mean, he's been coming from similar directions. But he has the ult again, so he pretty much has, the extra life, the
Get out of
escape
jail free
condition. He has
card.
to use it here because he unfortunately was cut out. So that's the answer, right? You kind of have to take the high ground away from the Doomfist. As weird as that sounds, usually you think about taking high ground away from like an Ashe or a soldier, but like the way that Doom can just drop unexpectedly from high ground, you kind of have to path up there and take it away from him as well.
It
And this
looks like
time they're
they
ready for him.
they are anticipating the Doom a little bit more. However, they didn't anticipate the Shatter coming out from Blood Hungry does end up knocking 4 down on the ground, and it's going to be another cleanup. A lot of these fights are being decided early from Reminiscence, whether it's their Doom going in and picking a few of them, or they recognize that that they're wasting a lot of cooldowns protecting their backline from the Doomfist. So while they're all looking at Doom, Blood Hungry comes in and gets a free Shatter.
I mean, this is just such a tough team to play against. Like Asdo is, you know, getting so much value, but he's not like carrying the team. Like the rest of Reminiscence is not incompetent without Asdo, right? So you focus on Asdo too much, and you've got Blood Hungry, Glitch, Seraph, and DNA up your ass.
And
It's
that
it's
just
so
proved it
tough
right
to play
there.
against this team. Yeah. Is that the
It
BAP?
looks like
Yeah, it's the
Asdo
BAP.
does get another pick on Cinnamon. The Diva Bomb is invested, doesn't get anybody. Asdo does pick up another DNA with the massive 2K bomb. Manbro does find Asdo though, so they may be able to turn this big shatter with the May ult invested, but it doesn't look like it at the end of the fight. It was just Manbro dude on the point alone trying to clean it up, and they were not successful. Reminiscence
Mhm.
is going to take this with a 3-1.
And this is a tough game. It's hard to not, you know, be focusing on Reminiscence, and this is obviously a very hard matchup for the Flying Lions. And you know, they took a point off. There were things that they are doing correctly. They played the first point very well. They were able to, you know, um, they were able to stabilize, live through, get their Symmetra beam ramped up, and an excellent play from Grant was able to clutch them up. They're getting these small victories. So it's not like there's nothing positive about this game. The Flying Lions, they're each map they're getting better, right? They had that really long full hold, or they had that really long hold on Hanamura B. and now they had a pretty good attack on Kings Row A. Reminiscence is a team that doesn't they 4-0 a lot of teams. Other than their Quaka Queens match, they've been 4-0ing a lot. Sometimes they don't even give up a single map point. Um, so although this is a really tough game, obviously for Flying Lions, but you do have to respect them for even taking a map. Even though like it sounds bad saying that, but it honestly is, an achievement to be
Yeah,
taking a map from this dominant team.
100%. Flying Lions, they are struggling a little bit with Reminiscence. I think Reminiscence is just a little bit more consistent with their initiations, playing off of their doom making space and playing off some of the cooldown usages like I was talking about earlier. And Flying Lions, they see some of these opportunities and they take them with that May like that Blizzard to take first point on Kings
Hmm.
Row. But it just doesn't seem like they are able to keep up the consistency with a lot of these plays, and they're not able to open up as much space. And they're not able to open up these opportunities like Reminiscence was able to do on the Doomfist.
Yeah, and it's just the pace. It's so hard to stay consistent at the pace that Reminiscence is playing the game right now. And I mean, it's no slack on the Flying Lions. This is just it is hard to play the game at the pace. They're playing at like a trans tier level pace, but they're in the Discord tier. So this is a brutal matchup for them. But it's not like there are no victories to be had.
Yeah, honestly, it's Flying Lions should be proud that they are able to contest Reminiscence. Like this isn't a loss that you come off of and you're like, oh, this sucks. Like where it's a big L. Even taking this loss to Reminiscence, because Reminiscence did win 3-0, so they do win this match here, and we're going into Havana for our last map. But Flying Lions does take the loss here, but they should be proud they were able to decisively win fights, and they were able to turn fights, and their brawl on I believe that was the two maps from before. I don't know why the
Hanamura.
map is Hanamura. That was blanking on my head a little bit, but they were on their defense second point. It looked very
Exactly.
decisive in the favor of Flying Lions, and I think if they keep up that consistency, because there were a lot of fights that they won consecutively, I think if they can keep that up, then they have the they're in the position to be able to take a map from Reminiscence. We are going directly into Havana here. It's going to be interesting. Havana is kind of a map you can see a lot of comps, a lot of different comps be played. Some teams run Brawl the entire time after doing a spawn hold. Some run the double shield, and sometimes there's a dive with like a ball or even like a Sigma ball comp or a
Mhm.
standard dive. So it's going to be interesting to see what both teams pick here.
I gotta say, I kind of don't want to see a spawn hold here. It looks like they are going to go for one based off this composition. Sort of similar to what they played on Hanamura. And I think typically the spawn hold is a good strategy, but I think you just make one mistake and Rem will full capture point one. I'd rather see you play that first corner, take it slow.
Yeah,
I think you honestly might chip more time out of the time bank if you just play safe on the first corner here, because I mean, Rem, all six of them are in the window. They're gonna scout this out.
yeah.
They know it's coming. It's
And
gonna be tough.
the problem with the spawn hold is if Flying Lions are not able to win the first fight, Rem gets a lot of space for free, and they have the ult economy to just push the rest of point one. So
Yeah.
let's hope that Flying Lions is able to utilize this far a lot, able to use a lot of damage, and clean at least one or two fights up, so that way they can get some ult advantage here. Shadowfang does fall to Asdo, but he is able to pick up the pick on glitch, but it doesn't matter because their spawn is right here. Flying Lion or Reminiscence is using this opportunity to make space and push cart and see if they can get a few more picks while the rest of their team is coming back from spawn.
Yeah, I mean, Rem can kind of just trade one for one. You see Blood Hungry just go charge in there, thinking, I'm going to get one and you know, I'm going to be taken down, but I'm going to take someone out with me. Ends up not even getting picked off at the end of it, but this is pretty much exactly what we anticipated, right? They're
Yeah,
gonna, and now Flying Lions have to make a wholesale comp switch. They're going over to the Brig, which I kind of question that because they're running into Rhine. Brig
yeah.
pretty difficult to play into Ryan. Perhaps like a Zen would be a spicy pick here. A good pick on the
A
concept
really
though.
big pick. But as we saw before, Reminiscence doesn't, they're not going to sit there and be like, oh, we're down one, the fight's not winnable. They're going to look for opportunities to turn this. Kind of interesting that Manbro Dude goes over to the Orisa. He had Shatter online. That could have been a pretty big fight turner. Reminiscence is taking the time to back up, though, giving a little bit of space so that way they can stabilize. But they invest the Nano onto the Diva and the High Noon to see if they can pick any, and none come in. However, there's a big
Oof.
Shatter coming in from Blood Hungry, knocking, I believe it was four of the Flying Lions down on the ground, and a big shatter like that, with only Orisa not being knocked down because of her fortify, is just a very the fight was determined when Blood Hungry pressed Q. That was just going to be over.
Yeah, and Rem had a lot of ults to burn because I don't think they want to stay on. They're probably going to switch when they lose a fight, so they have no problem over ulting every fight to make sure that they win, right? Here comes DNA with a bomb. Oh
Big
my gosh,
bomb, the 3K coming in from DNA to clean it up.
this
Absolutely
this
massive.
might be the second point. It's
Honestly,
going to
if
be tough to push into a Reinhardt when he gets control of that first high ground. There's nowhere really else that you can go. You can go bottom right, but that's not much better. Um, we'll have to see what they do. They're switching over to the Sigma to give themselves a little bit more shield. Maybe they can get a good early pick off of Cinnamon's window here and try to stabilize.
Dragon being committed early, which does burn the immortality, Manbro does get antied. And however, Grant is able to find the pick on the Ana, but I don't think that's going to make much of a difference. Rem still has the higher body count here. They don't really have any ults available, but Flying Lions doesn't have any of the players available. So it looks like they're going to give point two and see if they can have maybe a close hold on point three. Grant getting a pretty big headshot on concept here, but the spawn is right there for Rem, and it looks like they're going to be making a swap,
Yeah,
and they're going double shield, double sniper.
I'm sure Rem is very happy to switch to these snipers here and take these 1v1 duels.
The
And
only
they do get the pick on the Ana the last fight, but like the Ana doesn't matter to that
Not
comp,
at all.
right? He was on Ana because he had Nano after the spawn hold, and he doesn't really add anything. Good picks here from Grant though.
Yeah, Grant doing very well on the bow, hitting some headshots. Manbro able to get two picks through the window there, and I don't even think Flying Lions are going to, and I don't think they should even push in to clean these up. I think they just keep holding their
No.
position, keep it fortified. The thing about Reminiscence changing almost their entire comp is they're not going to have ults for a very long time. We see Grant and Manbro have their ultimates. They're
Mhm.
coming up on the rally as well. As long as they keep initiating the fight like they are right now, I think Flying Lions will be able to hold this third point pretty well.
Yeah, they were finally able to stabilize. Ooh, big trades from the Hanzas here. The thing that I'm looking at right now is the Zen versus the Brig. Because Brig doesn't really do much into these enemy comps unless you get more aggressive and try to brawl.
Yeah, and I think Discord is going to be very big on the side of Reminiscence in order to chunk down some of these tanks, like the chunk down the Orisa, even in Fortify. And we see it here now on the Sigma. They're able to get them down. Asdo with a 3K headshot.
Yeah.
Absolutely massive. Asdo has been doing very well this series.
I don't even know if the rally is worth it. It's,
I don't
it's going to be tough to get to point with all that armor still and really brawl out with Reminiscence here.
Concept picking up Grant really early. Now Flying Lions are going into this with a 5v6. However, it looks like Concept is able to pick up Hold Smash as well. There's only the Orisa to sit on point now. And even then, she's got Discord on her. She goes down pretty quickly. Blood Hungry just cleaning up. It's now Blood Hungry's turn for the 3K. It looks like Reminiscence is sitting there and going, all right, who hasn't gotten a clip yet tonight? We'll
Yeah,
let you have your moment.
the battle of the cattle's going off. Both Mambro Dude and Blood Hungry with some clippable moments there on the horse. But all things considered, that was still a pretty good map for the Flying Lions. You know, they got some unfortunate plays on first and second, but they were able to stabilize third out for a little bit. They knew what they wanted to do, right? They never looked lost. Unfortunately, some of these fights didn't play out the way that they looked, but they had a game plan and they followed it. They never looked lost or really too frustrated. They switched to the comps that they needed to switch to, at the right times. And other than the spawn hold, I think they were all, kind of the correct choice, so to speak. Um, so I like that they know what they want to do. They don't seem to be too frustrated or lost. When you're losing a match and you're just like, we're getting rolled. I don't know what to switch to or what to do. That doesn't seem to be the problem here. They know what they want to do. The problem is just it is tough to execute it against a team like Reminiscence.
100%. And we see Reminiscence going for the spawn hold here. Not running the Far Mercy like Flying Lions tried to do. Instead, they're running the standard brawl. Let's see if they're able to uh, stick together as a unit and speed into one target. However, it looks like Flying Lions are going to be running a dive, so they might be able to recognize that one player is a little bit out of position and see if they can capitalize on that. But Shadowfang quickly going down to Asdo. That right click from Mei onto a Tracer is just a one-shot headshot kill every time.
Mhm.
It's really unfortunate. So it looks like Flying Lions are making a quick switch. They're going to be mirroring the Bra. We saw this on King's Row. Let's see if they're able to capitalize on a different map here.
That seemed like a bit of a miscommunication. The Genji and Tracer bolted out of spot immediately, whereas the tanks and healers kind of stayed in. Um, Flying Lions trading this fight out 2 for 2. Blood Hungry might be a little too deep here.
It looks like Rem are going to be able to clean this up, but I
Yeah.
honestly I like the decision from Manbro dude just to charge into the 6 of them. Flying Lions has the spawn advantage. If they just get one pick with that charge, which they did, they got Hulk Smash out of the mech and they were able to take her down. They stabilize in 15 20 seconds and they're able to come into this with a 6v5, which is absolutely massive.
DNA does get back right as the fight pretty much starts, but Manbro dude coming up on a potentially big shatter here.
And it does look like they don't have really anything to block it either.
You might not need to use it, yeah.
Yeah, and that fight looked a lot more decisive on the other side here. They're still cleaning up a little bit, just the supports left, but I don't imagine that's going to be stalled out much longer. Now
Yeah.
we're going to see if Flying Lions are going to stick on this brawl, and it looks like both teams are going to be staying on it.
I think you have to say just because of the Mei
Yeah.
ultimate charge. Like I think the other characters, you could switch them and not really care. And I suppose you can play Mei with double shield. But at this point, when you're so close to 6 ults on both teams, you might as well stay and brawl it out for another fight the honorable way.
I like the pathing here from Reminiscence, but I also like the recognition on behalf of Flying Lions and playing underneath of it. They do decide to see if they can get the freeze on the Manbro dude, and they are. However, he's out of it pretty quick. Shadowfang with the 2K, Hulk Smash with the 3K. Absolutely massive ultimates invested. They were able to take the positional disadvantage, and they were able to recognize which way Reminiscence was coming from. They saw the ults that they were using. They stabilized. They pressed a few Q buttons, and they were able to turn the fight.
Yeah, that was an excellent bomb shatter coming out from the side of Flying Lions. We finally see that tank synergy that we've been looking for with that combo. They haven't been able to line it up just in the way that the economy's been playing out, but they finally do, and it pays off big.
Definitely 100%. It looks like Reminiscence right now got the point a little bit late. We weren't able to get there before it capped, and they're just kind of stalling it at this point. Let's see if Asdo is able to get Hulk Smash out of mech. It doesn't look like it. Asdo just kind of staggering themselves right now, which is interesting. So Reminiscence is going to end up having to go into this fight. I think Asdo might be swapping as well, and Rem might just be holding this this position on the high ground until they can get Asdo. Yeah, Asdo swaps over to the Hanzo. They're probably going to be waiting out for Asdo to come back before they make any kind of move.
Knowing them, they're still going to take this fight because it at least will force out an ult, right? They're a little bit more confident in their ability to come push back that last second fight. At least they're baiting out the most important ult on the side of Flying Lions.
I like that Flying Lions was able to recognize that they were down a player, and they started the initiative. They were pushing into them before the Hanzo got there, so they started going in. They used the Mei ult. They were able to get a few picks from that. Asdo does get a headshot on Shadowfang, but I don't think that matters. Shadowfang making, probably better, if not the same time as Reminiscence here on their first and second point. Let's see if they're able to get third point faster than Rem did.
Yeah, Flying Lions is kind of like, all right, you wanna take one more fight? I'm gonna come right up to you. Are you ready? I'm throwing this blizzard right in your faces, and you've got a Sig. You can't really eat it as easily. Really
What's
good
impressive
aggression from them to recognize that.
what's impressive too is Flying Lions did that all with just a May Blizzard, and now they
Hmm.
have
Oh,
they're coming up on 6 ults. As though does fly find the headshot on Shadowfang, which isn't too big because the spawn is right there now. It's just going to burn a few more seconds off of the clock, but I imagine Flying Lions are just going to amp in here and press Q a few times and see if they can clean up this fight.
Asto already has a dragon after switching. However, Flying Lions are pretty much at 6 ults right now. A good
It does
trade
look
with the high noons here.
Yeah, that is a very good trade, and looks like they are going to be able to take this advantage and walk in. However, Reminiscence uses the window, and they're able to clean this up. Concept finds a right click on the Manbro dude, which brings through the window, which brings them down a lot for Blood Hungry to clean it up. And the Flying Lions used 2 ults there. I think they could have committed a beat. They could have gone into the fight, beat in to initiate to go in, and they
Hmm.
may have been able to take it, but they only committed 2. They swapped up to Grant onto the McCree here, or onto the Hanzo here, and see if they're able to contest Asdo. But Asdo's been killing it on the Hanzo.
Yeah, I wouldn't have really had a problem if they even used 4 or 5 ults just to really secure
Yeah,
this first corner, because there's a potential that they'll switch anyways. They are going to be able to win this fight. Here's the crazy ult fight that we would have wanted last fight, and here come the switches as well, it looks
yeah.
like.
I just wish they were able to do it a little bit sooner. They would have had a little bit more time on the clock. And even if they press all their Q buttons and win that fight, if they lost the next one, that's when they could have made the swap to something like a double shield to mirror. But it looks like they're going to a Diva Ball kind of dive comp, but they don't really have any other heroes that can follow up on the dive. It's an interesting comp decision here on behalf of Flying Lions. A lot more ultimates being used. The dragons coming out from Reminiscence. The beat having to be used to keep everybody alive from extra sharp on the side of Flying Lions. And now it just looks like it's just kind of a mesh of colors on the screen, and who can clean up a little bit more. Right now, we're still pretty even. DNA in the back doing a lot of damage in the Sigma, but Blood Hungry going down to Cinnamon, and now it's just a matter of Reminiscence trying to stall out as much as they can. This is looking really good from Flying Lions, but they got a bit of the 2 CP issue going on right now, where they just gotta focus the
Yeah.
target, clean up one by one. If they're not focusing, they're going to get picked. Blood Hungry coming out with the charge to get Shadowfang, cleans up Cinnamon as well. But the big dragon from Grant coming in picks up Blood Hungry, so he isn't able to get much more value anymore.
And DNA
Here we
built this
have,
flux now.
yeah,
Oh,
here
but
we have
Asto again.
Asdo on the Doomfist, always coming back. Big minds though from Manbro, keeping everybody off of the point. And now it's just it's a matter of stalling. It's the one thing about a lot of Overwatch maps is usually at the end of them, aside from control point, is they have that 2 CP aspect at the end, where
Yeah.
if you're not hard focusing a target, if you're all not on the same page, these other players are going to be coming out one by one, and they're going to be able to get, even if one person gets a pick, that opens up the window for the 3 other people coming out behind them.
They are switching to Brawl again for this last fight. I would like that decision, other than the fact that Asdo is still on this Doomfist who gave them so much trouble on King's Row. DNA with a big flux potentially coming in, as Brawl, you're all close together. Oh, that's a big pick.
That
That's
is a
what they need.
massive pick. However, Grant does go down to the pulse bomb from Concept, but Manbro does find Glitch, so Reminiscence going in this without a Baptiste. Like, I like this Junkrat pick. It's a little bit of an obscure one, but it's getting a ton of value. Now this is where we're going to see the Flying Lions needing to be decisive on targets and focusing, because right now it looks like they're kind of all taking a little bit of a deathmatch 1v1 in the backline, but it seems to be
Oh,
working. Big shatter from Blood Hungry. I don't think it's going to be enough, though, because Flying Lions has their Baptiste up.
yeah. They were able to. Looks like they should finally be able to clean up this stall. I can just hear Mr. Yeti grinning for that Junkrat pick. Paid off very, very well for the side of the Flying Lions. Able to take out that threat of Asdo, and he was not able to bake yet another hero play on this series to hold out this point. They do cap with 0 time left though, which is going to give Reminiscence another minute to the blistering time bank that they already had. However, I mean, Flying Lions can pat themselves on the back here. They full capped against Reminiscence. It was looking grim at first, but they were able to come out and win this last fight. They had the mental fortitude. to not panic in that overtime scenario. And they were able to clean this up. You know, they've been improving map to map, and even if they end up losing this map, um, you know, they got 3 points off. This map has been pretty close so far. I think they can definitely be happy with their performance here.
Yeah, Flying Lions looking a little bit more decisive, a little bit more consistent here on Havana. It's it's definitely a big turnaround, like a completely different team from the first map that we were watching them on Busan. It looks like Reminiscence is going to be doing the spawn hold again. Same comp as last time. Both teams are mirroring. I think Flying Lions is anticipating the spawn hold, and they're coming out swinging here. Let's see who gets the advantages. Both walls used. Doesn't look like either one get value. However, Manbro is able to pick up Asdo, which is a big source of space that can be made here without Asdo. Grant able to pick up Blood Hungry. This is a completely different team than we saw on First Point Busan here. Flying Lions just recognizing their advantages a little bit more and able to clean up some of these kills.
That was an excellent flashbang from Shadowfang. That was what was able to give them the pick off onto Extra Sharp. Stop booping them straight up. You clean them faster if they're not in the air, buddy.
As a
Sorry.
Lucio player, it's hard not to just right click everybody all the
I
time.
know.
Cool down.
All right, we'll see what they could do. I mean, even though they were able to win that fight, that chunked out 45 seconds of their very, very low time bank already, and they have to leave one on cart.
Let's
Oh, that's a
see.
good window though.
That is a massive window. Both shatters used, or the shatter used from Flying Lions doesn't get anybody. And Reminiscence coming in here on the back of getting a few picks here. I think I think Flying Lions had the right idea of setting the initiation, but some of the ults just didn't hit like they wanted to. I know Manbro tried to use the shatter. It ended up getting blocked by Blood Hungry, which is absolutely massive. If that would have landed, I think they would have gotten first point easily and maybe even half a second. But that didn't land. Reminiscence had a few ults on their own, and they were able to turn the fight. And it looks like they're able to push Cart halfway through point one.
Yeah, I like the aggression in theory. I think they just did it a little bit too far into Reminiscence's territory. They had to leave one on the cart due to it being an overtime situation, and it was a 5v6. I think at that point you kind of take that first corner and you don't push your luck, you know what I mean? You
Yeah,
just you want to
they
push up a
knew.
little space, take that corner and get aggressive when Reminiscence reaches you, but instead they kind of went all the way into Reminiscence's side of the territory, so to speak, and wasn't able to clean up that 5v6 fast enough.
They knew the idea of the plan. They
Yeah,
had the idea. They knew what they wanted to do, but it was a matter of how
I
they wanted
agree.
to execute it. And it didn't seem like they knew exactly how they wanted to do it. They just said, "We're gonna go here. We're gonna use these ults. We're gonna try to turn the fight." But I don't think they were in the optimal position in order to do that.
Yeah, they're going on the pharmacy again. I think if you the issue was last time was that they didn't devote enough resources to the pharmacy, right? Mambro dude played extremely aggressive and was commanding resources from his Diva and his Baptiste. If he lets them come out a little bit, the Pharah can do a lot more work with a devoted Mercy Pocket and a Diva babysitting her, you know? So I think he could kind of tone down the aggression for once. Let Reminiscence get out of spawn a little bit because they need to be into the open space for Pharah to really get a lot of work done with the splash damage.
Shadow already doing a lot of damage, 60% to their ultimate. I think if they get the barrage, and they get taken down by Asdo on the flank, that's one thing I don't think they realized, or I don't think they remembered, is that the spawns on Havana, this spawn specifically has 3 entrances all on different sides. So just
Yeah.
because you see a Ryan and a Diva and a Bap on one side doesn't mean all of them are going to be over there, and they have to recognize they should be calling out. We don't see the McCree, or at least the Farah, who has the ability to see the battlefield a little bit better, should be able to recognize that, the McCree's not over there. That's my biggest threat. I gotta watch out. It doesn't look like they're able to do that. Shadowfang is 70% to their ultimate. This might be able to turn the fight here. However, Flying Lions already invests the immortality, which is
Mhm.
absolutely big for a lot of the ults that Reminiscence have coming up. Shadow does get the kill on Asdo. It doesn't look like the barrage is gonna get really any value here. I think it's just a matter of Flying Lions stalling this out, but this fight is going Rem,
Yeah.
and there it is.
Still a very respectable map. You know,
One
you didn't
definitely
have the
100%.
Diva. checking the McCree maybe as much as you should have. You go back in the VOD, you remember that for next map for next match. If you're up against Asda, that's not a player that you want to take a 1v1 with. You need to have the diva watching him at all times, pretty much. Um,
Definitely. And here we go,
Jesus, just shoot
Asdo.
three times in
Honestly,
a straight line.
this Asdo has been with the 4. Asdo has been you said this earlier, you don't think any player is putting anybody else on the or you don't think any player is putting everybody else in their back, but honestly, I think Asdo's performance has just been so phenomenal. Reminiscence was able to capitalize on a lot of the opportunities that Asdo was making, and if I have to give a player of the match, it's got to go to Asdo. Just this very decisive, making a lot of space for that. Some of these tanks should be making, but Asdo's doing it on the Doomfist on Kings Row. Getting 4 picks in the Widow there. Even the Hanzo was absolutely massive. So,
Yeah.
if I had to give player of the match, it would have to go to Asdo.
Yeah, obviously, all of these players on Rem are pretty much stars in their own right. They don't really have a weak player at any position, but after that performance, I it is pretty tough to give that to anyone but Asdo. The rest of the team is no slouches, but the way that he's able to make space and they are effectively, they're cleaning it up properly, but just the plays that he's pulling out sometimes without his team, the amount of times that he 1v4'd, especially really that one Busan clip in
Hmm.
particular comes to mind, where it wasn't all on camera, but Asdo killed 8 people, uh 4 of them in basically a 1v4, and then the next 4 like cleaning up staggers. I just like the potential for plays like that while the rest of Rem is also dominating in their own right. It's just so this is just a really tough team to beat.
Definitely, and definitely one of the top contenders, I think, in all of Discord tier. Reminiscence like really strong. They lost to Quaka Queens last week, but
Mhm.
that was such a close map. It was 2-3 for Quaka. These two teams, I think, are going to be going neck and neck, really far into the playoffs. Coming up after stage 2, and Reminiscence is just such a tough team, and Flying Lion should honestly be very, very proud of their performance.
Mhm.
If you're just catching us at the end here, Flying Lions did end up losing to Reminiscence 4-0, but Flying Lions put on one hell of a performance. Some of the points were very close. Some fights were consistently, in the Flying Lions' favor, and they were winning fights consecutively. So Flying Lions
Mhm.
should be very proud that they were able to do as much as they did against a top tier team like Reminiscence.
Yeah, and they still have the potential to make the B pool for stage 2 coming out of this pool of death pretty much with how many good teams are in their pool. I don't remember the number and the letter unfortunately, but there are so many good teams in this pool that honestly coming out B pool and even coming out as like the 5th seed in this pool is like the 5th seed in this pool is probably going to dominate the elimination bracket. You
Yep.
know what I mean? Like everybody in this pool is so strong. So kind of almost any placement in this pool is definitely no joke.
Yep. Well, that is going to be it for our feature match here on this beautiful Thursday evening, wherever you are. I hope it's beautiful. That brings Reminiscence up to a 3-1 and Flying Lions down to a 2-2. We have our next cast next week. Our next feature match on Tuesday is going to be Jetpack Cats versus the Jersey Boys from the Harmony
Big
tier.
one.
And then on Wednesday we have the Transcendence tier, Skybox versus Bird Society Ibis. Is going to be a very interesting match. And then we on Thursday we have Poseidon versus Valkyrie. All three of those matches are going to be very exciting to watch. So be sure to tune into those.
And
Right.
also don't forget we've got the beat drop.
Yep.
Sorry. The beat drop right after this. Actually, I believe with Asdo and Glitch being interviewed by Captain Jack and his team. So
Yes.
we'll definitely get to hear what they have to say about this match that just took place.
Definitely don't miss the beat drop going on right after we sign off here. But I've been Delphi for the casting for this feature match with my good friend here, Apathy, on the analyst. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time on Overwatch Tranquility.